Until 1954, segregation laws in some states forbade black students from attending the same schools as white students. In 1954, the United States Supreme Court outlawed segregation throughout the country and ordered that white-only schools must be open to African American students with all deliberate speed. The governor of the state of Arkansas vowed to defy the order. "Blood will run in the streets if Negro pupils should attempt to enter Central High School," he said. The school board of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, planned otherwise. To comply with the Supreme Court order, the school board of the city of Little Rock announced that the city's all-white secondary school could now accept black students. On the first day of school in September 1957, 9 African American children, later referred to as the Little Rock Nine, planned to enroll in Little Rock Central High School. Elizabeth Eckford was one of the 9. The Little Rock School Board asked parents of the 9 students not to accompany their children to school because the board feared that the presence of African American parents would incite a mob. The governor of Arkansas sent the National Guard into Little Rock, claiming that there was a danger of violence. Arrangements were made for all 9 students to meet off campus and approach the school accompanied by a lawyer and under military protection. Because the Eckford family had no telephone, Elizabeth was unaware of the arrangements, so she set out alone. When she got off the bus near Central High School, Elizabeth saw a crowd of angry white people and hundreds of armed soldiers whom the governor had sent to prevent the 9 students from entering the school. Elizabeth thought she might be safe if she walked behind the Arkansas soldiers to the school entrance. Believing the guards were present to protect her, she tried to pass through the line several times before being forced back into the white crowd.
The crowd began to follow me, calling me names. All of a sudden, my knees began to shake, and I wondered whether I could make it. It was the longest block I ever walked in my whole life. Even so, I was not too scared, because I thought the guards would protect me. When I got in front of the school, I went up to a guard again, but he just looked straight ahead and did not move to let me pass. I did not know what to do. Just then, another guard let some white students through. When I tried to squeeze past him, he raised his bayonet. Somebody started yelling, "Lynch her! Lynch her!" I tried to see a friendly face. I made eye contact with an old woman, but she spat on me. I looked down the block and saw a bench at the bus stop. I ran to the bench and sat down.
Some of the crowd followed Elizabeth to the bench, shouting, "Drag her over to the tree," a way of saying they would lynch her. As Elizabeth sat on the bench for what seemed like an eternity, a white woman named Grace Lorch made her way through the crowd and spoke to Elizabeth. Elizabeth slowly lifted her eyes and looked up at the stranger. Then she got up. Walking close beside her, the woman guided her to a nearby bus stop. Elizabeth got on the bus and escaped from the mob. Over the next few weeks, the governor continued to fight federal authorities until finally, on September 24, President Eisenhower federalized the Arkansas National Guard control and ordered the 101st Airborne Division to escort the 9 students into the school. For the remainder of the school year, the Guard accompanied the students from class to class. The Little Rock Nine eventually succeeded in integrating Central High School. Elizabeth later received a degree in history from the Central State College in Wilberforce, Ohio. She served in the United States Army for several years and found employment as a social worker and substitute teacher. Elizabeth returned to Little Rock in 1974 to live in her family's home, the only one of the 9 to return to that city to live. In 1999, 42 years later after the crisis, Elizabeth and the other Little Rock Nine students received the Congressional Gold Medal from President Clinton as a permanent remembrance of their unforgettable moment of courage. Had a dream, had dawn, and a trumpet had blown.